Hi, and welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the choice of to promote or not to promote. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Thank you for joining me. My name is Kale Houser. All right. Today, I want to talk about the options of when somebody is requesting a promotion, when somebody is requesting to do something else in your organization, right? And it may not be an official promotion like, hey, make me the vice president or I'm out of here, kind of anything like that. It could just be an opportunity that's available, whether it be, a travel opportunity to go to a conference, to go, do something to expand their experience, to expand their education. It could be all kinds of different things, whatever that looks like in your organization. You certainly know what that is and how people kind of progress and things like that. But this came across because I thought about a friend of mine the other day, and he just kind of, it's one of those moments as you're just plugging along, doing whatever, and people from your past kind of jump into your mind, and you start thinking about them like, oh yeah, whatever happened to that guy, and oh yeah, he was dealing with this situation, and da-da-da. So I'd actually reached out to him, just sent him a quick message like, hey man, I just thought about you today, wanted to say hi, and make sure you're doing okay, right? And this is a former military buddy. Super nice guy. He is one of the people that, man, I hope he stays in the military, even though I know he could have massive success financially, professionally, outside of the military, because he's that type of personality. He's a high performer. But he's the type that the military needs to stay and become upper leadership, become, a colonel and general, so that he can affect positively his organizations from that platform. Anyway, I had reached out to him, hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. He says, actually, I'm at UPT now. And UPT, for those that don't know, is undergraduate pilot training, right? So this is it's basically become a pilot in the Air Force 101, right? It's the first school you go to go through the rigmarole of, do you have what it takes to be a pilot? Do you go on to advanced training? Can you handle the physiological end of it, the mental strain of it, just flying an airplane, decision-making, all that kind of stuff, right? It's your 101 school for becoming a pilot. And whether that's a fighter pilot, a cargo guy, a helo guy, an Osprey guy, whatever that is, it's for manned pilots. Us as RPA guys had our own school. So he was at UPT. I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. And then that just reminded me about his struggle to get to UPT. He had come into the Air Force wanting to be a pilot. And then he, got picked up for RPA, and he saw that route, and then, kept applying for the opportunity to become a manned pilot and go to UPT and essentially cross-train, right, out of MQ-9, out of RPA into the manned world. Totally normal, right? This is a scenario that happens in every career field across the history of the military in general. People do a job, they get really good at that job, they kind of feel that they've maxed out their potential there, and they go, I'd like to go do this job, or I think I'd be really good at doing this. And they essentially find that that's the case. And this was certainly the case with this young man. And as part of that, right, where there's a process for everything, he goes and talks to our commander and says, hey, sir, I'd really like to go to UPT. And they only, do the boards every couple of years, and you have to apply. There's a whole process. And especially as an existing officer, cross-training, there's a whole process. You got to through medical and testing, blah, 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 right? I won't get into all the details, but it's a process. But a key part of that process is getting an endorsement from your existing commander to say, yes, I believe, lieutenant, captain, whatever the rank of that person is, so-and-so would make a fantastic manned pilot. He is a must-send to UPT, the next class, pick him up for this board, blah, 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 right? It's a key component. And even if you don't get that raving review, like an actual promotion letter and push letter from your commander, they have to allow you to apply, okay? They have to say, yep, I understand that, this young captain wants to apply, and I agree with that. Yep, allow him to go apply. He can submit his paperwork and then, of course, leave it up to the board to be actually selected or not. Now, there's something in the military called critically manned career fields, okay? So that's a stamp that the Personnel Center puts on certain career fields that they have a hard time keeping people in. So it's critically manned. It means they essentially won't let you get out of it. It's what it comes down to. It's like a mini version of stop loss. It's not so much that you can't get out of the military, but you can't get out of your career field. You have to stay within it because they're like, hey, we invested so much time and energy into training you as an MQ-9 pilot. You're going to stay an MQ-9 pilot because there just aren't enough MQ-9 pilots to fill your spot for our need that we need in order for you to go be a man pilot or go be a, whatever else it is, a finance officer or anything like that. I pick on finance a lot. And this was the case. We were a critically manned career field, and certainly with AFSOC, with Special Operations Command. And he kind of ran into that meat grinder. So it was this mixture of, really kind of obviously timing, but also our commander at the time wasn't willing to go to bat for him. He wasn't willing to put in the paperwork to kind of push through that to get him at least an opportunity to apply for the board. Because there was no guarantee that he would get picked up by personnel, the personnel center, the flying board making the decision of who to take and who not to take as a cross-trainee existing officer versus a brand new, lieutenant out of college. There's no guarantee, but all he was wanting was the opportunity. But and looking at him and looking at his history, it was a pretty strong possibility, right? There's just people that like, okay, there's really zero reason that they wouldn't pick this guy up. He was just one of those types of guys and personalities that would be really good. But it comes down, and I got to thinking about this, and it really comes down to being afraid to lose somebody when they come to you for that promotion, for that opportunity, right? And you realize, okay, well, if I allow this as the business owner, as the department head, if I allow you to go do that other thing, that yes, I agree and acknowledge it would be good for you. You would enjoy it. It's suiting in your skills. It's suiting in your desires. But man, that's going to hurt me. That's going to hurt our organization because now I'm missing you, right? You are a valuable part of our team. You're a high performer. You're our top salesman. Like, we don't want you to go be the VP of our company because it's going to take you out of that sales position, right? Even, as a frontline salesperson, whatever that is, I'm just kind of making stuff up at this point for scenarios. But the reality is, once they've kind of made that decision, they've come to that point of, okay, I like doing this job. I'm good at this job where I'm at now, but man, there's this thing over here, or there's this conference I really want to go to, and how do I get to it? They've made that decision in their mind. They are already there. They've justified it. They've qualified themselves to be capable of doing that next level thing. And when you have gotten to the point, well, one, this shouldn't be a surprise to you. Okay, so that's a whole nother issue of if this is a surprise to you that one of your guys or gals is coming to you with these desires. Because, as part of Kale Houser Leadership, this is what we teach, is interacting with your employees and building this culture of trust and growth and mutual benefit kind of thing. So one, this shouldn't be a surprise to you, but if it is, we can address that. Shoot me an email at Kale Houser Leadership, and we can help you address that shortfall there. But again, they've already decided. And if you're like, nope, not going to do it, that's communicating to them that while I understand this is what you want, the needs of our organization are more important than your needs, Kale. Like, I understand that, you would be more fulfilled, you would have more opportunity, you would make more money, more time with your family, whatever, if you were to promote to this website. And, maybe you'd even contribute to our organization as a whole, but I just can't afford to lose you at this position, so you're going to stay at this position. And this kind of happened a little bit with me as well when I was coming up for a move, a change of station in my career after being stuck at Cannon for many, many, many years. And I've told this story. I've told my commander, like, you can send me to go do any job. I will go anywhere, any Air Force base, or whatever base on the planet, except to the schoolhouse in southern New Mexico. He said, I can't do New Mexico for another 4, 5, 6 years, whatever the case may be. And I think at that point I had about 4.5, maybe 5 years left to hit my 20. So more than likely it would have been a last assignment. And I can't do the schoolhouse. It's just not my style. And I don't see it as a move up. I don't see it as an increase in my path in my career with the Air Force. I think, if anything, it's kind of a demotion, right? I'd be going down with guys that are younger than me, less experienced than me, less rank, all those types of things. And if I saw it as a demotion, not a promotion or any way to advance me. And it was blatantly ignored, right? It was blatantly disregarded. It was like, well, okay, but I'm non-volleying you down there anyway. So here's your orders. You're going to go. To which, fortunately, I was in the position where I can be like, nope, no, you're not. Bye. Have a good day. I'm out. And I put in my paperwork to separate from the Air Force. But the reality is you're going to lose that person anyway. Whether you promote them and keep them in your company or keep them in your organization, or it's you let them go for that week to that conference, to help better themselves, to help better their contribution and experience and education to your company. But yeah, it's going to suck that they're gone for a week. You're going to have to pick up the slack created by them being gone or absent, which honestly is no different than if they were just sick and couldn't do it. Versus yes, you're going to lose them, versus if you deny that request, if you deny that promotion without like legitimate, valid reasons that they're now on board with, you're going to lose them anyway, because they've already decided that they're not for this position long anyway, and you're going to deal with that fallout. But how do you decide between promoting and backfilling that position versus not promoting and attempting to keep them and fully understanding that they're probably going to quit anyway? Now, they may not quit right away like I did when I was told I was being non-bald. That was kind of scenario based. I had to make that decision one way or another pretty quickly. But they've already quit in their brain, right? When you've told them that, no, I'm not going to send you that conference. I need you to hit those phones and keep making sales. I understand that conference will probably make you a better salesman, blah, 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 blah. And that is signaling to them that, okay, this isn't an organization for me. This isn't somebody that's interested in my growth and helping me promote and all those type of things. Because there are always opportunities for high performers, right? They will always, because they are high performers, because they are interested in their own self-improvement, and the organization at large, usually, right? Because they've seen, whether that's that promotion or conference or anything else or that training, they've seen it as by me getting this or doing this, I'm helping the organization more, right? They see it as a way to do that. And maybe it's out of your department. So yes, it might not help your department, but they're now becoming the VP of whatever over the whole company. And they see that as their way to help the whole company at large, right? Even though that's a hindrance to your department by losing that warm body. But there is a trick here. There is a scenario where they essentially can hold you hostage. You've said, man, Joe, I would love to send you that conference. And there may be a good reason, like, hey, Vicky was already scheduled for vacation that week, and Jeff has, blah, 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 whatever scenario. Like I literally, if you leave for that conference, I have no one. Like the department shuts down, right? People understand that, and especially high performers understand that. Like, oh man, that totally sucks. That's horrible timing. I can't believe that. They may go as far as, talk to Vicky and say, hey, are you on vacation for a specific reason? Or are you just taking time off? Can that be moved at all? Because I'd really like to go do this, right? That teamwork aspect of it. But Vicky could easily come back and say, no, it's like legitimately my sister's wedding and I'm the bridesmaid or maid of honor in that, and she would murder me if I wasn't there, right? And people understand that. Those are all scenarios that are out of control, and I'm not necessarily alluding to that. I'm alluding to you as the leader have chosen not to do that. You've chosen to not promote them. You've chosen not to do that thing for them. So it could easily turn into that situation. And again, this is a lot depending on the culture you've created, right? The groundwork that has been laid, that they've now kind of hold you hostage. Says, well, sir or ma'am, if you don't give that to me, I'm out of here. I'm going to quit, right? And I hope you can kind of see the danger in this type of scenario is that once somebody is threatening to quit, they're going to quit. It may not be again tomorrow. It may not be next week, but now they know they've got you. Now they know if once you acquiesce to that request or that ultimatum, that they hold all the power, right? And no matter what it is, all they have to do is threaten to quit, and they get what they want. It's no different than kind of the throwing the tantrum, right? But if you're at the point of them holding you hostage in that matter, you are way past it being a long-term relationship, whether it be an employee leader type thing or just them part of your team. They're just using you at that point because they're understanding they're being manipulative and all those things. But ultimately, it comes back to, who do you blame for that? Do you blame that person because they're wanting to do that thing and better themselves? Or do you blame yourself because you created a culture to where you don't know their goals? You don't know what their desires are. You haven't laid out a path of, hey, we're going to get you this experience. I'd really love to, and as they're going and as you're seeing their character and their work ethic and how they interact with everything, you're like, man, you would make a great VP of, this department over here. They're kind of struggling with what you're really good at. Man, what would you think about that? Or, all those types of things. Like, how are you as a leader pushing them to those opportunities versus, dude, do you realize that this, this big old industry conference is coming up in Indianapolis, next month? Like, are you available? Do you think you could go do that and represent our company there? Because I think, you would be perfect for that. You've got all the right skills to blah, 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 man the booth, all those types of things. You as the leader need to be pushing those opportunities for your people so that it almost gets to the point where they're not coming to you for requesting that. It becomes the point of how are you coming to them saying, hey, this opportunity just came up. Do you want to take this class? It'll help you be a better coder. It'll help you be, do whatever in your IT job. I'm not an IT person. This promotion just came up, or, hey, I'm promoting, like I was this department head and now I'm promoting up to VP head. I really want to put you in as my replacement, put my recommendation and reference behind you because I think you would do great. You've been here for, X amount of years, blah, 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 whatever that is. The point is you've switched that as if you're creating that culture that hopefully you, at this point, you get that this is what Kale Houser Leadership is all about, is creating that culture, that you flipped that dynamic. Instead of them coming to you, you are going to them. All right. Does that make sense? So the good news is, going back to my buddy, he did get picked up for a slot. He persevered. And I don't know, because it happened after I left, I don't know the circumstances of it, of if he went around that commander's back or if it was finally he outweighted that commander and then the next one actually pushed him through and kind of understood that dynamic of, you can't hold down good people. You can't hold down high performers because either one, they're going to leave, or two, you're going to kill their thing that makes them a high performer, right? They may sacrifice for ease or just discouragement that, my boss doesn't think I'm good enough, so I must not be good enough, so I'm just going to stop trying, right? And you've just killed their spirit, you've killed their motivation, you've killed their morale, which we don't want to do. That's not our job as leaders. Certainly being realistic, right? If you've got kind of the office screw up or the one who hasn't done anything to deserve that opportunity, you need to be real with them and you need to be honest with them. You can't kind of fluff them or lie to them and build up this false expectation in their mind. But there's a way also to do that without being putting them down or just killing their overall motivation and willingness to work with or for you. All right, so does that make sense? So when people come to you looking for other opportunities, hopefully it's not a surprise, one. Two, hopefully you're the one going to them instead of them coming to you, right? And certainly in this case, it was a little different because, that commander, but I know for a fact that young officer had made it known to our commander, right? As part of his, like, what do you want to do in the Air Force with your career, right? He didn't say, I want to be, the number one MQ-9 guy, or I want to be a squadron commander someday, or blah, blah, blah. He said, I want to go fly manned. I don't care what it is. Obviously, it would be awesome to do C-17s, but I want to go fly manned aircraft someday. That's my real passion. That's what I want to do. I want to fly. I feel it in my pants kind of thing. And that was kind of ignored. And I don't know if discourage is because I don't think the commander at the time did anything to say, no, you would suck at that. That's a horrible thing to do, right? But it was certainly not something that he helped him work towards or achieve. So again, I don't know the circumstances of how he got there. I'm just super stoked that he did get there. I know he'll do fantastic. So if you're listening, good luck, bro. Do great things. Be a great leader. Be a good commander in the Air Force because they need you. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Shoot me an email, would you? Kale@kalehouserleadership.com. We'll have a new website, is in kind of its final throes of fighting to go live, going through final edits and things like that. So it'll be hopefully your one-stop shop for podcasts and blogs and training and all those types of things. It'll be kalehouser.com. It is not live yet, so if you're listening to this and go to it, you'll get that classic, this is a parking page type of thing. All right, everybody, have a fantastic afternoon, no matter where you're at in the world. Bye.